You've probably seen a lot of court movies when somebody objects and says, leading the witness, or that's a leading question. Well, this is a very real phenomenon that courts and lawyers recognized for a long time. Leading the witness is basically setting up the question to get the answer you want from the witness, and this is not allowed in courts. What Loftus and Palmer did in 1974 was to set up an experiment to find out not only can they lead the witness, but can they actually get somebody to have a different memory. In an experiment they titled Reconstruction of Automobile Destruction, what they did is they actually demonstrated that that's exactly what they can do. They can manipulate a memory simply by the question that they ask. Loftus and Palmer conducted two different experiments. In the first experiment, they had 45 subjects. Everybody saw the same video at first. It was a bunch of video clips of 7 different automobile accidents. After the couple-minute video, they were asked a question. They were all divided into their different groups and they were asked a question. The first group was asked about how fast were the cars going when they hit each other. Now the next group was asked almost the same question, just a little bit different, about how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other. And the other groups were asked virtually the same question, just using different verbs, like how fast were they going when they bumped into each other, when they collided, and so forth. The question is, would the average speed of the different groups be different based on the way the question was phrased? We'll get to that in a moment. For now, let's look at experiment number 2 that they did. Along the same lines, they took 150 students this time. Now with 150 students, they showed them all a 30-second video clip of one single car accident. Right after the video clip, in the 3 different groups, they divided them up 3 different groups of 50. The first group of 50 was a control group. They sent these people home right away. The second group, they asked the question about how fast were the cars going when they hit each other. The third group, they asked about how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other. Right after the questions were asked, they were sent home. Now a week later, they brought these 150 students back, the 3 different groups of 50, and they were given a questionnaire with about 10 different questions. One of the questions on this questionnaire was there any broken glass in the scene of the accident? Now objectively, there was no broken glass in the video, but how many people would answer yes, and would that vary based on the group? Well, now let's look at the results. Now in the first experiment, they wanted to see how fast the subjects thought the cars were going based on the question that they were asked. And surprisingly or not surprisingly, it varied based on the verb that was used. So for example, all the way at the top using smashed, the average was 40.5 miles per hour for that group. So the people who were asked how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other, they said at an average 40.5 miles per hour. Now all the way at the bottom, how fast were the cars going when they contacted each other? That average was only 31.8 miles per hour. That's a difference of over 21%, a major difference, all based on the way the question was asked. Now to experiment number 2, would there be a difference in how many people thought they saw broken glass? Well, the first group, remember the control group that were sent home and weren't asked any questions, 6 out of the 50 people said that they saw broken glass in the video. The next group, the group that was asked the question, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other, they said 7 of them said that they saw broken glass. Not much of a difference from the control group. But what about the last group? The group that was asked the question, how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other? 16 of them said that they saw broken glass. 16, that's over twice as many as the other groups. So what's going on here? Why the major difference? Well, a week prior when they saw the video and they were asked the question immediately after, what they did was they re-encoded the memory and saved the memory. And then 1 week later, they were asked to recall that memory again, but the memory they actually recalled was not the original one that they saw in the video, but was the different one that was re-encoded after they heard the word either hit or smashed. So the memory was altered by the way the question was asked. This experiment had major implications in many areas of life, specifically for eyewitness testimony. Can we really trust eyewitness testimony? Well, apparently not as much as we thought we could.